Hello, the doc is in, and welcome back to another chapter of Jujutsu Kaisen, chapter 231. Alright, coming off the last chapter, right? We get a lot of revelations last chapter, right? So we start, even the chapter before that, got Sukuna, Maruroga, team up, the Jojo, Dio, got more accurate representation, well, comparison, and then his stand, Maharaga. Dio immediately unsummons his stand. Is what it is. They have a talk off. Sukuna's like, I got you pegged. I'm gonna open my domain. You can't open your domain because you fried your brain. You lose. Tries to pop his domain, splurts blood literally from all his face orifices, and Gojo's like, haha, like full on, like, what's it called? That bully from The Simpsons. Full on, haha, pulls him in, decks him in the mouth for trying to disrespect. Crazy activity. So that's the end of that chapter, right? Good stuff. So now we can get into this chapter. Alright. Chapter starts off. We got Kusakabe again. This man's always on timing. Right? He's like, hey guys. So who here has been punched in the face by Gojo? Full force. And we got the students and they're like, we got Maki, Panda, cursed speech user, can't remember, probably come to me in, I would say Tamaki, but that's not it. Toge, I'll probably put it in later. This is not important enough to warrant me stopping the recording to go back, right? So we got Toge and Yuji. They're basically all like, well, I've tried punching Gojo, but I hit infinity. But only Hikari and Yuta are like, actually, I have been beat up by a limitless using Gojo. Well, given the hands, given the one tap. And Kusakabe is like, yeah. Basically the way his punch, Kusakabe and Hikari basically describe what it's like to get hit by Gojo. And they're basically like, the way he does is that he punches he puts a reinforced punch, but he also uses blue at the same time, basically pulling you into the punch. It's a weird thing, but the gist of it is an extremely powerful punch. We actually get for Hikari and Yuta, they basically like, hey, I have been hit by it, and well, when we were hit by it, basically we both threw up. Like we were given that one tap, bang, like that's a good strike. And actually we have Yuji recollecting to when he was talking to Nanami, and Nanami is basically like, hey, don't try to work off gang like Gojo. All right, gang like Gojo is not realistic for you. Like, a good way to put it in perspective is that at the time, obviously Nanami is literally Yuji's senior, but he was like above Yuji, right? And Nanami's like, hey, putting in perspective, I'm better than you, and Gojo's so much better than me that when I hit like a devastating blow, that's one of Gojo's normal hits. To put it in perspective, I'm stronger than you. My best hit is his normal hits. All right, don't get it twisted. That's that boy. And so we go from there, and Kusakabe is like, you know, to put that all into note in my little box. The box says, that is all I do know. Going forward, everything's out of the box. I don't know what's going on. Cut to the fight. Gojo's cutting up. He's cutting up real crazy. He is taking Sukuna for a ride. He said, I want to show you around town. He said, no, we don't need a car. We're taking Air Gojo. My man's flying and not throwing, but I guess you say dragging Sukuna through the rubble, tosses that boy. Then he's like, all right, what is it called? What's the thing? Dang, I had to put that into in post. But that thing that Rinnegan users in Naruto can use, where they create the planetary devastation. That's what it is. Boom, boom, boom. But right, he creates planetary devastation, makes Sukuna the center, right? Gets him in there. Bang, crushed by rubble. But Sukuna busts out, and he enters Gojo's range. He's like, all right, I'm out of this. All right, it's my turn. Gojo, no, it's not. goes for the head stomp while he's crouching. That's a crazy move. Sukuna, not to be outdone, the head stomp comes in. He flips it. All right, this is some Baki activity. You hit the head, they do a full flip to reverse the hit on their head to hit on your head. The Maharaga wheel in the flip turns dark. Sukuna coming down with a devastating axe kick. Gojo moves. Shaokon Jutsu. Yeah, I said it. It said the axe kick coming down. He moves out the way. Shaokon Jutsu. Got multiple Gojos at one time. Some woman out there is feeding for this moment. She said it should have been me. Me personally, it also should have been me. I don't know. Not like that. I want to do Shaokon Jutsu. Not like that. Pause. Anyway, the rest of the chapter. Gojo. Coming in. We got the other Gojos walking around the side like, where we're going to attack too. This Gojo comes in. Sukuna, unfazed. Punch about to touch his face immediately. Bang! Behind the back, Gojo's coming in for the real Gojo's coming in for the sneak attack. And he's like, I gotcha. And Sukuna retaliates with a punch towards his face, but Gojo catches it in time. And he's sent flying. Gojo does. He's sent flying into a street light. But he grabs it and he hangs on top. Not Gojo style. Spider-Man style. Perched up. Right? So they look at each other. Right? The exchange has been done. Gojo's up there. Sukuna's down there. A little bit information about the Maharaga wheel. To quickly go over that, I didn't understand this at first, but after getting some consensus from other people who read the chapter, basically what the important part about that is basically for the next section, which says as so. Basically, to use the sacred treasure of Maharaga, which is specifically the adaptation wheel, it requires a certain balance. Like, it's a sacred treasure because it requires certain energy to be usable. So, what this means for us, the readers, and the sprites, is that Sukuna cannot do certain things while wanting the Maharaga wheel to adapt. That being said, put that a little aside. Maharaga wheel spins. Click. Something has been adapted to. Cut to Gojo and Sukuna inner thoughts. Gojo goes first. He's basically like, okay, so when the wheel turns black, which means that it's not being provided with the necessary cursed energy material, let's say, to do the adaptations, it will turn black. When it turns black, as we saw earlier, it is no longer adapting to any phenomenon. This is important because for Sukuna to have touched Gojo, he was using domain amplification. So what this means is that the wheel basically wouldn't turn if he's using domain amplification or expansion, possibly. Definitely amplification, not sure about domain expansion, but Sukuna's brain been fried as well. So we probably won't need to worry about domain expansions because currently he doesn't have access to them. Sukuna, he's basically like, okay, so Gojo's only using one of his techniques. As we saw, while just going through what we were seeing, he's only using blue so far. He's pulling things in, pulling Sukuna places, pulling things towards Sukuna, that sort of thing. And he's basically like, I kind of expected this, seeing as I have the Maharaga wheel up. So he's not going to Gojo's not going to use all his different techniques to fight Sukuna while they're being adapted to, because then otherwise, Maharaga is just going to come out and then beat up Gojo. So that's how it's being countered. Inner monologue over, light turns green on the street light. Bang! My man shot a bullet, and the bullet was himself, and the gun was still himself. Shot at Sukuna. Dodged by Sukuna. Gojo. Yank. Sukuna. Stop that right there. The street light gets yanked by Gojo. Sukuna grabs it, swings it at Gojo's head. Stop. That's not domain amplified. That will not be touching me. Cut away. Get back to our boys. Inside. Right? And so they basically go over kind of the information that we were talking about. Well, kind of the information we were talking about, and kind of the thing that's really up in the mind, which is that Ys has Mayoraga downloaded or adapted to the Limitless. And we see that the wheel has spun a few times at this point, but the suggestion is, well, if the Mayoraga is already adapted, then when you bring Mayoraga out, the answer is no, because not adapted yet. And so they come to the conclusion that chances are they will just need to have the wheel turn a bunch of times before it has adapted to Gojo's technique. And Kusakabe is basically like, I guess it's possible, considering that these guys have been doing the impossible. So the suggestion is that it's not normal that the Mayoraga wheel doesn't automatically adapt after one turn, but considering how strong these guys are and how their techniques work, that just is the situation. Sounds about right for me. We then cut back to Gojo and Sukuna, and they're just having casual conversation. They're just talking, chilling, vibing. I guess after the exchange, they're like, you know what? We'll put it on pause. Let's just talk, right? And so they're going through their conversation. They're basically like, they kind of confirm what the onlookers, the Jujutsu Society, was thinking. And they're basically like, yeah, definitely needs multiple turns. I would say you got about 3 left before Mayoraga adapts. He's like, yep, Well, Gojo says, and you got about 3 turns left before it fully adapts. Sukuna's like, yeah, that's about it. That's about it. And so Sukuna's like, well, if there's only 3 spins left, then I have 3 spins until I get to wipe your ass off the earth. And Gojo's like, right back at you, buddy. You know what? Actually, up the ante. Before you get those speed spins, I'll kill your ass. That's dead ass. For real, for real. Sukuna. Oh, really? Eye contact's being made. We cut back into our onlookers for the end of the chapter. Yuji. I think he forgot about Megumi. Well, Hana's like, did he forget about Megumi? And Yuji's like, yeah, maybe. And Kachima's like, it's fine. Let him forget. I don't know what side Kachima's rooting for, but honestly, he's rooting for the side of chaos. He's like, wherever strong. Honestly, I think this is the best way to put it. Right now, Kashimo is basically watching the greatest sports game of all time. Like, thinking of like a soccer player, football player, right? This man, he can't play right now, but he's like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. This is all I've ever wanted. Living it vicariously through this TV, watching these two beasts fight. I don't even care about all the extracurricular stuff. I'm just trying to see the squabble of a lifetime. And he's seeing it. He's seeing it. I know it's great. I'm seeing it through manga form. No color. 1 panel at a time. And I'm like, this peak. I can only imagine Kajimo's just sitting there like, damn, eat. Like, he's like, forget, let him cook. I'm just eating. Everything that comes out of the kitchen is banger. I can't get mad at it. Anyway, chapter over. Good chapter. Great chapter. Break next week. Depressed. Crying. Throwing up. Pissing and shitting. I'm in dismay. But good chapter. Good chapter. Things to discuss. There's not that much that's up to question. The Mayoraga wheel stuff, where like the explanation with the treasure. Flavor text, honestly. For the layman, flavor text. Just suggestive it is. You can't do certain things with the Mayoraga wheel out if you want it to adapt. It requires certain resources out of you, well, out of the user, to do its job. So, for Sukuna's purposes, he cannot use domain amplification while wanting the wheel to adapt to phenomenon. So, for Gojo's sake, what he wants to do is that he wants to catch Sukuna going on the offensive and then be prepared for a quick counterattack. I guess the best way to kind of describe it would kind of be like, as Sukuna's on the pursuit, right? He's going in for attack, kind of like the axe kick or so on. You want to have like something like a red in the cut, so that then as soon as like, let's say, I guess the best way to put it would be like, you're predicting, you're waiting for him to go for a punch, like a full send swing, dodge it, bang, straight to the head with red. It won't get adapted to. You'll get the hit off. It's good stuff. Get what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's for that purposes. Otherwise, honestly, Gojo W chapter. He's he's boxing Sukuna up. It is not a good, well, yeah, it's not really bad Sukuna chapter really, but it's definitely a chapter where Gojo is just going ham, and Sukuna does not have too many crazy answers for him. Now, given he has Mahoraga wheel out, there is a benefit to forcing Gojo to, making Gojo feel comfortable and like he can go crazy, and then making it so that then he uses more stuff that he needs to because he thinks he has, like, he's, I guess the best way to put it would be like, it is okay to let the Mahoraga wheel adapt if you're already winning and you're basically aiming to put him down with the next attack. For example, let's say Sukuna gets hit with the Wombo combo. He's getting Wombo combo, he's getting flung around, he's getting trashed, a reverse bicycle kicked, whatever, I don't know. He gets sent flying, hits the ground, he's not prepared, unblocked, point blank red, straight to the chest. If the Mahoraga wheel is still open, getting that hit off might feel worth it because it could possibly just put Sukuna out of commission, or just put him so far behind in terms of like how much curse energy he has left that it's worth it to get the shot off. But that it works in Sukuna's favor because if he doesn't die and he gets the adaptation on the move, it plays into his favor, so that then even if he does take a lot of damage, if he's not out, Mahoraga can just come in and wash Gojo, because Gojo will have no answer for Mahoraga. So there's a play here for both sides. There's definitely a play and a lot of things to be given for both sides of the table here, and I'm happy with it. Honestly, I am. So yeah, I think that's about it for this chapter. Not too much else sad. Sad we're going on break, but I'm happy to see this chapter come out. It's good stuff. With that all being said, thank you for watching, and the doc is out.
Thank you for watching. Feel free to subscribe and watch the videos on the right. Other than that, the doc is out. Bye.